Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Here I am again, Coach John, and I've narrowed down some time in this man's schedule. I'm grateful that he's made some time for us today. I met Dr. Reece about 5 years ago, I'm going to say, along my natural health journey. And I know him to be, also living that life and changing his life naturally and having a vast experience with natural health. And so I'm going to let him share a little bit about himself first. Please, Dr. Reece, introduce yourself to my community. Please tell me about yourself. What happened to you? What did you do? What did you learn? And what are you doing now because of it? Like, what have you seen in your life? What have you learned? And what are you doing, sir? Share freely, please.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm 12 years deep now. And, 12 years ago, I was having all sorts of health issues. I used to be in show business. So I was living a fast life, chasing success. And, I ended up, going to the doctor and having the realization that they didn't know what they were doing, essentially. I mean, they didn't know what they were doing as a whole, I should say, because they're treating symptoms. And they have what I call a specialty system. So, you got the elbow doctor, the eye doctor, the ear doctor, the foot doctor, the booty doctor, the heart doctor, the liver doctor. And it's a specialty system. And I went down that road and ended up becoming a practitioner and a coach and earning a PhD. And the interesting thing about it, though, that's interesting is then in my late 30s, I had more problems. And here I am. I got clients. I'm making some money. I got these amazing testimonials. At that time, I had 5 books. I was, I'm in the game. And somehow I end up in pain. And I'm like, well, what, how, why, how and why? What's going on here? And again, down the specialty rabbit hole. And so what I ended up realizing was I ended up discovering clinical nutrition, and I ended up discovering postural therapy. And that just blew my mind. It opened me up to a whole new world of nutritional deficiencies and poor posture. I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my body. I had tingles all over my body, almost like electrical shocks. And then I had plantar fasciitis in my foot. I had costochondritis in my rib cage. I had this weird sternum injury where I had to bend backwards and let it pop to let the air out. All right, so this is beyond food. And then my calves went out, and I couldn't walk. I mean, I could walk, but I was limping around. It was quite a time. But when I discovered postural therapy, my mind was just blown, man. And how when we're not in alignment, the body starts to break down. And it doesn't matter your genetics, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter what your diet is. The body just breaks down. If your knees are out in front of your hips, or your hips are out in front of your shoulders, or your shoulders, it's, I would just tell anyone listening, just if you have shelves in your house, go look at the shelves, and you'll see that they're stacked directly on top of each other. And so that's like our joints: ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, ears. Ears are the marker for the head. So they're supposed to be on top of each other like a shelving unit. And so I was blown away, and I started learning about the body, and I went to the osteopath, and what I did was, with my osteopath and my chiropractor, is I used them as training, and I would ask them questions, and I just became a student. And one day, because I have a pinched nerve in my left arm, I have a pinched nerve. I didn't know it at the time though, John. Now the doctors were throwing crazy words out at me, like autoimmune disease and sclerosis. And I'm like, what? How? I eat fruits and vegetables. How? Right? How? It was a pinched nerve. And I was in the osteopath one day, and he's like, he was young. He was young, and so I challenged him to show me how this works. He goes, okay, because he's young and cocky, right? He takes his thumb and he puts it into the back of my spine, and he finds, up in our cervical, and my arm went limp. He goes, you see that? He lets go, and my arm came back, and I'm like, whoa. And so realization that the spine is your circuit breaker, and there's nerves coming off of the spine, and they're connected to the heart and the liver and your eyes and everything. It's just truly amazing. This machine is amazing. And so I ended up going to school to become a postural therapist. And so I learned it. I had to, because it was just so amazing. And now I'm helping clients, and what we do is we take P-rays. I call them P-rays. They're posture photos. And once I see your photo, I can tell what's going on with your body. Just as an example, it's happening with my mother right now. She's having some vision issues. And I said, Ma, it's your posture. It's your posture. But, when you tell people it's their posture, they minimize it, because posture is sort of known as like how you're standing or how you're sitting, but that's not what it is. It's the position of your musculoskeletal system. So she went to the doctor, and they want to send her to a retina specialist. And I'm like, Ma, just look at the symptoms. Look at the symptoms. Her face is red. She has allergies. Her blood pressure is a little high right now. She's lacking oxygen and blood flow to the eyes. The eyes are muscles. And it's connected to our spine. And so I can look at the pictures, and I can actually tell, just like somebody can tell from an X-ray. So it's quite mind-blowing. And I've seen people heal with postural therapy, just mind-blowing stuff. John, I have a client right now who's 75 years old, and he had knee issues, and he had some bone spurs, and he went in through the the ride, the medical ride, and they shaved a 1/4 inch off his toe, and he regrets the surgery. He definitely regrets it. And I showed him the pictures, and I said, no, this is why you have bone spurs. I showed him his posture, and he's all messed up, and because I showed him this, he's not going to need knee surgery. And 2 weeks later, after prescribing to him corrective exercises, he's changing already. He had some fat in his gut. It's already melting away, because that's lymphatic fluid that's stuck from the hips. Because our joints, and nobody ever taught me this when I was going to school. The joints are pumps for the lymphatic system. So his hip joints are stuck. And that's why sometimes we get this muffin top or whatever you want to call it, the love handles. And in 2 weeks, this 75-year-old man is burning fat and his spine is changing. His spine was very flat. Now it's starting to curve. So it's just very mind blowing.
I think that's so interesting what you're saying there. Like I found the same thing, that this perception of fat as being like stored calories. I think this is a misperception of fat.
It is. It
It's
is.
not true. Like this is what we're told about fat. Fat is toxic waste in the body. It's fluid in the lymphatic system. It's acidic waste. It's stuff that needs to be detoxified from the body. It's like the body locks out lymphatic waste in different components and compartments in your body.
And I could never figure it out, John, because for so many years I did so much fasting. 100 days on fruit juice, all these crazy fasts, but I still had fat on my tummy, and I could never figure it out. I get on the treadmill, I do push-ups. It's my hips. Once I looked at the pictures and I could clearly see my posture, I could see my knees, my hips, my shoulders. And so you just, if you're not pumping it, then it's not going to drain. And I'm going through this now with my neck, because my neck is not on top of my head, because I've been a computer athlete for 25 years.
I've been so out of alignment, and I so really relate to this neck and head and the pain in the neck and head and shoulders, and just being out of line, and the loss of vision that I'm 50, I'm starting to see that, but seeing these things restoring because I'm getting myself back into alignment, like coming back into alignment, like deep breathing. I find flexibility, yoga, like stretching, flexibility, deep breathing. I find fasting, reducing inflammation, reducing mucus in the body, all kind of helps the body come back into line. Like I say, I had an osteopath treat me a couple of weeks ago. I really felt like this was a really awesome thing. There's a lot of beneficial things naturally that we can do to restore balance and health in the body. And alignment, it's about alignment. Yes, I think mental, physical, emotional alignment. So I'm really, and I've seen how my posture has changed, and how the function and fluidity of my body has changed, and the pain has come out of my body. And I've seen how the pain was physical, like waist left, and I've seen mucus leave, obviously, and also like mental, like thoughts and words that were associated with the habits, the behaviors, the foods, and the postures that I was in. So like thoughts and word change, and emotional change, like feeling emotions leave your body, like sitting and with an emotion and letting it be, and watching it, feeling it go from the body. So physical posture alignment, mental thoughts and words, and emotional. And physical, I think also even nutritional. So overcoming some of these limited beliefs we have about maybe protein, or even on the other side, I see people even going the other way with obsessive veganism, like obsessive fasting, like it's like almost anorexia posing as a fasting lifestyle. So like there's that, right? So there's an imbalance where you can kind of go from, I figured out that the food that I'm eating is shit, so now I go the other way, and all of a sudden now I'm all about fasting and starving myself, and the other way becomes shit. So now you gotta, nothing in life is really all one way or the other way.
And that's why I got into clinical nutrition. And so I opened a clinic, and it's based on clinical nutrition, postural therapy, and mindfulness, and putting all three together. And I have a new book coming out this spring that highlights all of this. And clinical nutrition, for anyone that doesn't know, all that really means is you test. You test. And at my clinic, I have the ability to do blood tests, urine tests, stool samples, and hair analysis. So, why guess? And we can test and we can find out if somebody's deficient, or if somebody has too much heavy metals in them. I found out I had too much arsenic in me. If I didn't test, I would have never known. This is clinical nutrition. This is what your medical doctor should be doing, but they don't. They send you down the carousel of frustration without even knowing what your numbers are. Now, they'll check their kidney function and your liver function, of course, but they don't check the nutrients that fuel the liver and kidney function. And all we have to do is test. And I tell people all the time, like, I'm not like for veganism and I'm not against veganism. I'm for you having good numbers. And that's just it. And if somebody has good numbers, then it's double thumbs up. Let's have a hug. Good job. Good job. But if your numbers are low or your numbers are too high, then you obviously need to change your diet in some sort of way. But nobody will ever know unless they check. Now, I had no idea. If you talk to, 33, 34, 35-year-old me, who was deep in the, holistic health game, I would have never said that at all. Because all we really know is like B12 and vitamin D and vitamin C. That's all we're really trained to know. But there's 90 nutrients. There's 90 of them. That's a lot. And they're essential, and we have to import them. And so what happens is a lot of people who go all the way to the right or all the way to the left, like you said, like the extremes, their numbers get all wacky. And they may need to, make a change. And so postural therapy also applies to this too, John, because when the body is lined up, when your joints are on top of each other, your metabolism operates differently. It starts to get functional. And, it's pretty amazing. And I look forward to helping people at my new clinic with this new philosophy of treating the body as a whole unit. I'm not promoting any diets. I'm not promoting any foods. It's just real simple. Let's get your posture in alignment. Let's make sure your nutrition numbers are correct. If you want to be vegan, cool. If you don't, cool. Like, it's up to you, man. It's your choice, It has nothing to do with me. And then let's make sure the mindfulness is there, like you said, checking in on those emotions. Somebody makes you angry. Ooh, okay. Ooh, go into that. You want to heal that? You got to feel that. Don't repress that. Feel that, baby. Woo! If you're not crying, you're not healing. If you're not crying, you're not healing.
It's true. It's true. If you're
You
not
gotta
letting it go.
really get in there. You gotta really get in there. What's going on? Are you upset with your parents? Are you upset with your husband or wife? Do you have a victim orientated mentality. This is something that I used to have because I was in show business, and I did my part. I brought the talent. I brought the discipline. I brought the productivity. But I was always looking around like, where's my help? I need help. It was like Michael Jordan, his first 5 years on the Bulls. He's like, where's my help? I can't get into the championship because I got no help. And it wasn't until Scottie Pippen got drafted that they started winning championships. And so I used to have that victim orientated thinking, and it's toxic. We can't blame other people. We're responsible for ourselves. And so that's what I want to teach people is peace over pain. That's why I named the clinic in the book Peace Over Pain, because it's a choice.
Yeah,
You can
choice.
choose
It's a
peace.
choice.
You can choose peace or you can choose pain, baby. It's up to you.
Making a decision, taking
Yeah,
responsibility. I hear that in your message there, accountability. I
yeah,
really align with this. We have to take accountability. It's got to be decision. It's got to be mental. It's got to be a change of mind. There's a mindset here.
yeah,
There's a change of diet. There's a change of nutrition. There's a
yeah.
change of posture. So how do you manipulate posture? This is all an online service that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
was the other
anybody
real
can contact from anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you are.
anywhere in the world. I don't have to touch you.
Yeah, right.
It's awesome.
And then, posture therapy. So like, are you talking about, doing some manipulations like that they're doing, or you've got some exercises for them, or?
What we have is what we call corrective exercises. And so I'm trained to write them into a routine, a prescription. I don't mind using that word. Nobody's coming there. If they're going to come get me, they're going to come get me. I can prescribe a protocol of exercises for specific reasons. For example, if we wanted to align your shoulders, then I might prescribe to you 4 exercises, and you would have to do those 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, 30 minutes a day. Pretty much anyone can do that. And it all comes in through your phone, the videos and everything. So you sit there with your phone next to you and you just watch the exercises and you do what they do. And the alarm goes off, you're done, on to the next. It's very cool. Very cool. I had a headache last night. I woke up with a headache, man. And it's because my head is coming back on my shoulders. And I can tell by looking at my pictures. They're here, and then all of a sudden it's coming back here. Now, when you take that head is about 11 pounds. It's a bowling ball, right? Here's your shoulder girdle. Here's your head. You want it to be here, not here. And so as it starts to come back, there's a lot of symptoms. It's just like detoxification, John. It's the same concept. You go through symptoms because the muscles are moving back. And so
I felt this. I'm aware of my head and my alignment of my neck coming back. Like I've had such bad neck pain and shoulder pain. It was just all because of injury in the upper neck and back there. But like putting those things back into alignment, it takes a little bit of time and it's a little bit of discomfort, and you got to move through it, and the alignment comes back. But when you feel that come back, wow, like what a change in your energy, what a change in your sleep, what a change in your digestion, what a change in your flexibility, what a change in your pain-free mobility, what a change in your outlook, like everything comes back into alignment, right?
Yeah, and because I'm trained in these exercises, I was able to, pick 3 or 4 of them for my headache. So I was able to treat my headache with corrective exercises. It's pretty cool.
I
And
like that. Physical movement, stretching, strengthening, moving the blood, energy flow through, releasing whatever's tense in the
oxygen.
upper neck, back, shoulder, off blood flow. Yes, right. Re-exhilarating the body with movement and mindset and nutrition and breath work and putting it all together into a lifestyle. So it's really kind of coaching people. People need coaching because we're coming from our old habitual behavior. Like we have to have some sort of accountability, and we have to have something that's directing us forward, right? We need some sort of steps and motivation and inspiration and support. And
Yeah. Yeah, and I know what it's like to be in pain. I do, man. What I went through, and I just wrote another book about my story. So book number 6 and 7 are coming simultaneously, and it was tough to write about it, but I went through it, you know, and I can identify with people with pain, like, having trouble even getting out of the bed, stuff like that. That feeling of not being able to go for a walk, it's not a good feeling. Not a good feeling.
yeah, dealing with pain, coping with pain, whether it's physical pain. I mean, physical pain's such a nuance, and a nagging all day pain, it can wreck your sleep, it can take your happiness away all day long. Dealing with pain, whether it's physical like that, and it's physical, and then what you also see is you see there's a manifestation around you as well too. There's a pain in your life, like whether it's financial, or it's in your relationship, it's with your husband or your wife or your child or your work or your boss or your employee. Like it's in your body and it's in your life. Like it's in your mind, it's in your body, it's in your life. We have to get rid of the pain, right?
Peace over pain.
Peace over pain. Choose peace, man.
That's right.
Learn to choose peace. We've been taught to choose fear and pain. We've been taught to choose struggle and anguish. We've been taught from the world to get stuck in the the shenanigans of the world, basically selling people things, selling shit, chemicals and drugs, solutions to people's pain. People have to look into themselves.
Yeah.
People have to learn to look into themselves. People have to learn
Yeah.
how to be their own doctor. They have to learn exercises, movement, breath work, nutrition that helps them to release their pain. Mindset, thoughts, words, information, encouragement, support, accountability. People need to learn how to let go of their pain.
Quick story. Just about a month ago, I was on a Zoom call with about 10 people. It had nothing to do with health. It was more of a spiritual meeting type thing. And one of the women on there was complaining about her heart. She had heart palpitations, and she's been dealing with them for many years. And I couldn't get off this call without saying anything. And I said, ma'am, I have to I have to speak up or I wouldn't feel right. And I said, your heart palpitations are more than likely a pinched nerve because the cervical spine is connected to the heart. And she goes, huh, no doctor's ever said that to me before. I said, yeah, posture. I said, would you like to do a test? So I ran her through a test right on the spot, right to the Zoom. There's like 10 other people watching this, but it's just me and her. And I ran her through some tests. And she said, man, you've given me more in 5 minutes than my doctors have in the last 10 years. And she was very appreciative. And, she made an appointment with me and we met a few weeks later. But here's the interesting part. There was a medical doctor on the call. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. So I leave the office. I come back. I got a message on my phone. It's the medical doctor. She looked me up. And she goes, what kind of doctor are you? I say, I have no idea. I'm just a teacher, essentially. That's really what the word doctor means, teacher in Latin. And she goes, I'm a medical doctor. She's like, I'm 50 years old. I've been doing this a long time. She goes, there's no way I could have done what you just did with that woman. Who are you? Where did you get trained? And how do you do that? I thought she was going to yell at me or like, because medical doctors don't like the alternative guys, right?
Yeah, this is the thing. And it's good to see that some medical doctors are doing that now, right? So some, and I think most are not, but wonderful that some are. I think there is a trend that's moving towards the natural. There's a trend that's moving towards naturopathy, like the natural approach to yourself, your best self. We have to move this way.
Yeah. And the poor girl was, on the what I call the carousel of frustration, man, the medical ride, going from specialist to specialist to specialist. And I evaluated her photos. And, she had this going on. Her shoulders were forward, her head was, and she had a sway back posture. And yeah, very well could be, I'd throw a 90% on it, a pinched nerve. The heart connected to the cervical spine. And so it's just a short circuit, essentially. And it could be some other things too, nutritional deficiency, whatever.
Emotional whatnot. Yeah, right. There's other things in there too. But yeah, I mean, there's a clue and a direction that you're already getting. This is thinking about it, neurologically, nervously, in a different approach to our health than the doctor's approach. It's looking within the self, like what's out of alignment within the body, physically, mentally, emotionally, that we have to bring back into alignment to make this person come back into their own power and their own awareness and their own health, which is within them.
Yeah, and the other thing that I had to really learn, John, is I had to learn how to die.
How to what?
How to die, because how can we live if we don't know how to die? So when I was going through all my stuff, my pain and whatnot, I went into what most spiritual circles will call a dark night of the soul. And it lasted 7 months. It's a long time.
It's an emotional thing.
And there were nights when I just had to surrender to death. And so in doing that, I really learned peace over pain.
There's an emotional bit to the healing. So when you do let go of this, whatever you've got, this thing that's in you, this demon, this low vibe, this frequency, it's an emotional thing. It's a physical toxicity in there. There's a mental habit around it. There's a postural, physical aspect to it. It's affecting the way you're sitting, standing, thinking, breathing, eating, fucking shopping, everything that you're doing. It's in there, it's involved, right? Like you can't separate the body, like, and separate science into different compartments. You can't compartmentalize the body. The body is a unit. We have to do a holistic approach to our health.
That's exactly why I wrote the new book. The way I break it down is in the 3 parts that create the unit. Just like a car, okay, there's the structure. That's the musculoskeletal system. Then you need to put fuel in the car. That's the nutrition. And then there's an onboard computer. That's the mind. Of course, the mind connects to the structure through a wiring system. That's our nervous system. And so it's all there, man. And every condition or group of symptoms should be, and this is what we're going to do here at the clinic, we're going to treat all of it at the same time. And by treating it all at the same time, it creates a quicker healing process. I feel like I can get someone healed up and corrected in 120 days versus taking a whole year or two just by correcting the mind, correcting the posture, and then correcting the nutrition. You do it all at the same time.
You look great, by the way, brother. Like, I mean, I haven't seen you in a few years. You must have lost 30 pounds or more. More, maybe.
I don't know, man. See, the thing is my weight used to go up and down because I was a food addict. And I would do like 100 days on juice and water, and then I'd come out of it and eat a bunch of potatoes and vegan burritos. And so I was on this thing, and you can see pictures of me through the years. You know, sometimes I'm skinny, sometimes I'm heavy, sometimes I'm skinny, sometimes I'm heavy.
I'm catching yet another time, another phase. This is your fighting weight now. This is your living weight now.
Yes, I conquered my addiction, and I got my numbers leveled off, my nutrition leveled off, and I've maintained my weight. And I look a little skinnier right now because I shaved. Got to redo the beard a few times a year. But ultimately, I've maintained my weight for an entire year for the first time in my adult life. So,
oh, congratulations, brother. You look great, brother. You look great. You really do. It shows. It shows. And you found a path of teaching. And this is what it's about, a natural path for teaching, right? It's finding our joy, finding our passion, finding our purpose, finding, when we find our thing, that this is important for us. This is important.
Service. Yeah, finding, creating skills that can be of service.
That you're passionate about, things that you love, that you really love to talk about and be involved with and help people with, and that's your thing. How old are you, Dr. Reece?
I am 42 and a half.
And you got some kids, or?
No kids, no wife.
Okay, and you're living in?
East Hartford, Connecticut.
Amazing, brother. Yeah. So I mean, what is it like? Contact Dr. Reece for a intro call. Let's do a little startup call. Let's have a little conversation, a little dialogue about what's going on with your health.
Well, right now I'm doing posture evaluations for free.
Let's do a free posture evaluation with Dr. Reece.
Sure, no problem. All you have to do is go on peaceoverpain.com, and up top there's a tab that says P-Raise, and then it tells you how to submit your photos, and then I'll do that for free. I cover your face so nobody knows who you are, and I put it online, and it blows people's minds, man.
What happens to change?
No, just seeing the body out of alignment. And, we're walking around and we don't even see it until somebody points it out. And so I can point it out in the photos and give the evaluation. And so
get people going in the right direction just from that initial consultation. Let's get people started in the right way of changing their life, their direction, their path naturally.
Yeah, man. I had this 19-year-old kid just the other day. I evaluated his photos. He was, man, it was a disaster. The disaster posture at 19 years old. And I was like, what have you been doing the last 10 years? He goes, yeah, video games, lots of video games. And he had
awkward positions and postures and chairs and laying or sitting or bending or leaning around. Or
yeah. I wish I could show you the photos, but yeah, his body was just really messed up. Just a big sway back posture, one shoulder's up here, one's down here. He has scoliosis and a rotation, and the kid's in pain. It's too bad, and we have an epidemic of bad posture going on right now. These kids are it's happening early. In fact, there's a new phenomenon happening with young women where they're being thrown into their menstrual cycles a year earlier than they used to. There's young girls out there who are having their period at 11 years old because of motion deficiency. Because they're not getting the activity outside like I'm sure we did when we were 11 and 12 years old. The body is trying to produce muscle in its wisdom. And the best way for an adolescent to produce muscle for a woman is going to be that burst of hormones from the menstrual cycle. And so I'm convinced that's why we got the big booty era now. Because I don't know if you agree with this, but when we were in high school, booties weren't that big. They're gigantic now.
And I would also add the birth control pill.
Birth control pill.
I would add this, and I would also add milk.
Hormones in the food.
Hormones in the food. I think the growth hormone in the cow.
Yep.
I think we got to go to the smaller animal. Get away from the big one, man. Like if you're going to go for the milk, go for the goat milk. Go for the goat cheeses if you're going to go.
At the very least, make sure it's grass-fed at the very least.
Make some changes in direction. We got to make a change in path here, boys and girls. If we're not talking about elimination, and I don't think we need to talk about elimination, but we need to talk about forward progress. We need to talk about more life, better life.
But it's interesting, though, going back to this booty thing, which is the glutes, right? The glutes are the biggest muscles in the body. There's 3 of them. And if you go back to, no pun intended, if you go back to 1992, this rapper by the name of Sir Mix-a-Lot came out with a song called Baby Got Back. It was the booty anthem. I was like 12 years old. I was in my glory, right? If somebody goes and YouTubes that video, these booties are not that big compared to now.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and you watch a Nicki Minaj video from the last 5 years, the glutes are way bigger than they were 20 years ago. So
glutes are up.
Something has changed. Something has changed.
Booties are up.
There's
more junk in the trunk.
The glutes are growing.
Junk in the trunk.
The glutes are growing, and we can't blame them on surgeries because obviously you can't really get a surgery until you're in your 20s legally. So how do you explain a 13-year-old girl that's shaped like a 30-year-old girl? And it wasn't like that in the 90s.
You see, this is trending. This is happening. But we're seeing it, adolescents, obesity is rising too. It's body fat, it's stored fat, it's over maturity, it's hormone problems at a young age, hormone in irregularities at teenage, adolescent ages. So it's showing up. I wouldn't even rule out even though still too, like even parental, toxicity and then emotional toxicity. I mean, this
people feeling unloved,
a lack of love, less time, parents, less time for parents, with parents, less time for families, the family unit's been destroyed, broken. Like so many things here. The mother is, every mom and dad are both working. Mom's not home. I mean, so many things are here. Fast foods, Coca-Cola, pop, fructose, high fructose sugar,
Yeah.
fluid, what?
And motion deficiency.
Motion deficiency, inactivity. Yes, more media, more devices, more social media, less motion. This is it.
I mean, when I was young, I was always outside playing sports. Now the kids are playing video games, and they're on their phone and they're looking down, which is creating cervical flexion. And so the head is down like this, and eventually it stays there, and that's the posture. And we need them up like this with the shoulders back, you know? So things are changing, and you know, we're just here to set people back on the path, because 100 years ago, you know, there was no motion deficiency. It's definitely not 1,000 years ago.
Let's get back to nature, people. Let's get back to nature. This stuff wasn't happening 100 years ago. This has happened over the last 100 years, from 1920, 1910. I know I was following Dr. Arnold Ehret, wrote his book in 1909, 1908, something like this. These things were being shared. Natural health was being shared. Then, about 100 years ago, 1910, 1920, it's like the initiation of the global monetary fund changed. There was a big change from natural medicine to allopathy. And this became like, the Rockefeller era. And there was a big change in the media and the messaging and the education and the universities and the whole public image surrounding what's healthy, the whole image from the media of what's healthy, what they're painting as what's healthy, what we need to be healthy, the image that's being sold, the information that's being told to get there. Everything is being controlled. And this is what all driven through the monetary fund. This is education. This is the Food and Drug Association. This is all being run through the government. This is all what's driving the population out of balance. Some unnatural things have gotten into the lifestyle, and they have tainted the public image and the public education and the public information and the knowledge, and that's circulated. And now we've got a incorrect public understanding of health, and we've got the whole public going in an unhealthy way, mentally, physically, emotionally, nutritionally, in all aspects. We need to bring the public back to what was happening 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago. We started getting bread. We moved into these civilizations. We were not this way before. We didn't go to the grocery store and just fill the cart with food. It wasn't like this. This is not nature. We got to come back to what's natural. Just because we've been doing it this way doesn't mean this is the way it's supposed to be.
Right. And it's gonna increase and get weirder, because the metaverse is coming out, and you're gonna be able to go grocery shopping on, walk down the aisles with your fancy glasses, virtual glasses, and it's just going to keep advancing and advancing. And there's nothing we can do to stop it, but you can still go outside and play. You can still do your postural therapy. You can still do your yoga. You can still
We used to have recess. We used to play every day. Then we started paying the bills. And then what? Paid the bills.
Yeah.
Get shit done.
Darn bills, man.
Paying bills. Like that's what life's all about. You get into this paying bills cycle, and you're just living to pay bills. Well, you're not going to be living your life of your dreams paying bills. We got to get out of this thought process. It's not about the money. We got to move beyond the money a little bit. We got to move to the feeling. We got to move to the feelings. We got to get into the feelings. We got to get into the heart center. We got to change the feeling body. We got to affect people emotionally. We got to do it through relationship, through dialogue, through communication. This is how change happens. This is how we re-educate the population in a natural way.
Right on.
Brother, it's been great to catch up with you today.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Much love and
Awesome.
peace to you.
Yeah, man. Great to connect, and we do it again. It's got to be at least, every once in a while, we got to reconnect.
Sure.
Think about something else that comes to mind. I'm always open and ears for collaboration. Maybe we do a workshop or a men's retreat day or something where we're doing a little sharing for people.
Sounds good.
Awesome, my brother. Let's connect again real soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, man. See you later.
Bye.